your heart when he said Rush Limbaugh is exactly right about how Donald Trump can fix his problems, namely ignore the political chatter and focus on the domestic agenda. But I got to tell you, by historical standards, by this point, Obama stimulus had already been passed. President Trump is pretty slow on Obamacare, is pretty slow on repealing Obamacare, pretty slow on tax reform, and there's a lot of disarray inside the Republican Party on Capitol Hill.
Well, now, here I have to tiptoe. We're not talking Republicans and Democrats opposed to Trump. We're talking establishment versus Trump. Trump considered to be an outsider. The establishment doesn't want any part of Trump. They don't want him to succeed, and I would throw the Republicans in that as well. It's just the way Washington works. And this is why I think moving forward on this agenda, you should have on the stimulus. Here's the difference, and this is what Trump supporters know. It wasn't a stimulus. It was a payoff to unions, Chris. It didn't stimulate anything. We don't have a growing economy. We don't have jobs being created at a replacement level for those we had lost. We don't have anything Obama said. He lied about
Russ, you want to be right.
This is important stuff that Pete...
Well, no, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying at least he passed his program, and President Trump hasn't passed any of his programs.
Well, it makes my point. Here you had... You know, the story...
We're not very good at tiptoeing.
African American. Well, it's television. It's Fox News. I have deep respect. No, seriously, you have first African American president. You have everybody falling all over themselves to acknowledge that, to reward that. Obama was going to get everything he wanted in the first year. If anybody opposed it, they were going to be accused of being a racist or bigot or who knows what. But don't ignore the substance. The voters know that the stimulus doesn't matter when it got passed. He misled everybody about it. The people of this country are tired of being misled. They're tired of voting based on what candidates have told them they're going to do, and nothing ever changes. Trump has a wide berth here, Chris. The media did not make Donald Trump, and they can't destroy him. But the media thinks, and when I say media, let me define ABC, CBS, NBC, New York Times, Washington Post, USA Today, LA Times, the cadre. They have a formula, they have a blueprint for destroying Republican political officials they don't like. It's not going to work on Trump. He doesn't fit that mold. They're trying to every day. It's kind of comical to watch. And my point about the domestic agenda,
and I'm not interrupting. I'm not interrupting because we agree. I'm just moving you along. I want to stay on this media issue because you heard my conversation just now with Reince Priebus, and tell me what you think. When Trump sends out a tweet and says the fake media and all those organizations you just listed are not my enemy, they're the enemy of the American people, does that go too far?
Well, again, not to his voters. His voters,
I'm asking you, what do you think?
I think that there's something to it. Enemy of the people, enemy of the state, they're enemies of Trump. And Trump won the election. Trump won on substance. Trump did more interviews. He explained his agenda more than any political presidential candidate ever has in my memory. And he has tried to stick to it as people perceive it. And this effort to stop him, this is what people include, anti-American, anti-this. It clearly is anti-Trump. And Trump has a connection with his voters that most politicians don't have. I understand it perhaps better than anybody in me. That connection that he has is not anything that anybody else can break. Only he can break it.
And I got about a minute left, so I'm going to ask you to keep the time on this.
Is that all?
As you look, no, you've been doing great. As you look at where they are 1 month in, is he in good shape? Is he in trouble? What's the state of the Trump presidency? 1 minute.
My impersonation, well, it depends who you ask. If you ask the media, they want people to believe that it's chaotic and falling apart, and it's already over. Trump's defeated. He doesn't know what he's doing. And everybody's running away from it, and we've got people in the deep state where they're trying to sabotage Trump in order to save America. I think he's doing exactly what he said he was going to do, and at the bottom line, I don't really think he's fazed by all this. I know Donald Trump, he's a winner, he's committed, and he has intended all along to do what he thinks is necessary to save the country. So, perceptions on what they
You be like some competitor, Papa.
only one
She's mad you're not paying her.
3 years and 11 months
Huh?
ago, and his supporters have no.
So you decided to come over here and start licking me now?
Where they're worried or want to abandon him. They hope he hangs in. They hope he just continues to stick it to them. And they want to see this administration. Believe me, that's the magic here. Get tax reform, Obamacare repealed, and he's free.
Rush, thank you. Thanks for coming in. It's always good to talk with you. Please come back.
Thank you very much, Chris. I appreciate this very much. I really do. Always a pleasure.
Up next, we'll bring in our Sunday Clip to discuss President Trump's effort to seize control of the narrative from the media. Plus, what would you like to ask the panel about the president's first month in office? Just go to Facebook or Twitter at Fox News Sunday, and we may use your questions here.
The Republican Party's falling apart. They're never going to coalesce behind the president. They're never going to stick with him. Right now, they are, and they are not abandoning him, even John McCain.
Well, look, I think that, all presidencies start with a little bit of chaos. This kind of chaos is actually different because where it is and at what levels. And I think, the actions on Flynn, on the implementation of the immigration ban, what some said was a Muslim ban, this is the kind of chaos that not just this administration, but no administration needs. And it's got to wrap itself up quickly because I think Republicans are going to head for the hills.
Guys, we're 30 days in. He doesn't have a national security advisor. He had to fire him, and there are 7 committees that want to investigate his campaign on Russia.
Oh, there have been
I
times.
mean, that's a huge problem.
This is not a small problem. You should never call a federal judge so-called. That's an enormous mistake. Enemies is an enormous mistake. But I'm pointing out what I think I was saying. You make enormous mistakes early, you can course correct. You bring in a bullet, and all of a sudden you've got someone who come on the Sunday show like Reince did. So there's an opportunity to course correct.
There's 2 levels here. There's the talk media thing, which he's great at. He's good at your job. He's a talk media host from public housing. But there's the actual substance running of government. Rex Tillerson could be a great Secretary of State.
Do you want to go back to you, Papa?
Because somebody in the White House blocks him.
Oh no, he's moving on for something.
And then Ben Carson is somebody. People all around the agencies who are trying to actually run a government are prevented because of the loyalty test. Then the Israeli Prime Minister comes in. There's no state and no defense representation. This is just not how government works. You can't run it as 1 or 3 people in the White House. You need to lead an
The
organization.
people have no one to call. I mean, that is the problem. You've got people who are heads of agencies, no undersecretaries, no assistant secretaries, no deputy secretaries. You cannot run a government like this.
All right, we're going to pause here and pick up this conversation a little later in the show. But up next, what happens when there is a lack of trust between the White House and the intel community? My interview with the former head of the CIA and the Defense Department, Leon Panetta.
Tell you what, you get 2 different stories.
Oh, all the time. And it hasn't changed. It's still the same.
From Rochester,
Next week it'll be the same goddamn thing.
Yeah.
to Utica. Creative business incentives, infrastructure.
Man, I tell you that out.
University
I recorded that on
and the lowest taxes in decades are creating a
that
stronger
basketball,
economy and the
the
right
All-Star
environment
thing.
in New York State
Man,
business
I watched it
to
last
thrive.
night when we got home and went to
Let's
bed.
grow your company's
I got wrestling started back at Chair Plus.
ASD.ny.gov.
No more. We can't. One of them sleeping on the floor. Between the 2 of them, man, we don't fit in that bed no more. She kept pushing, he kept kicking. I finally got in the chair. But I watched it last night because I recorded it. Man, I still have it. The stand up concert was crazy. They were jumping over people, standing up 6, 7 feet tall. Oh, it was something.
To folks everywhere whose diabetic nerve pain shoots and burns its way into your day, I hear you. When that pain makes simple errands simply unbearable, I hear you. I hear you because my dad struggled with this pain. Make sure your doctor hears you too. So folks, don't wait. Step on up and talk to your doctor because you have places to go and people who can't wait for you to get there. If you have diabetes and burning shooting pain in your feet or hands,